Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. And ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Walker Howard enters the transfer portal. That news broke while we were on AFR on Wednesday. So appropriately, we also got to do a little Scone and Tea Wednesday night. So got to go a little deeper dive into it as well. For the benefit of those that, excuse me, for the benefit of those that sort of missed any of the show or content yesterday, kind of run through some of this. So I think everybody understood that Walker was, I think, willing to wait a year, right, to sit and to grow and to develop and to learn and all that sort of stuff. But by year two, I don't even know necessarily that he had to be named the starter, but that he was going to be able to compete. I think that was always his expectation. So with Jaden and Garrett both returning, as the number 3 guy, you're not getting reps with the ones or even the twos. You're basically running scout team. So, I think for Walker, it wasn't that necessarily that he needed to be named the starter. It was that he wanted to be able to have an opportunity to get reps and compete for the starting job. And with both Jaden and Garrett back, that wasn't going to happen. So I think for most LSU fans, the hardest part about this is the last name, right? Like we've known about Walker for a long time. He was a really good high school quarterback in Louisiana. Obviously, he was highly rated. He's a legacy. Of course, everybody knows Jamie played at LSU, and we kind of all had visions of, Walker Howard at Jack Bash, and felt good, sounded good. We look forward to seeing it. But I think you also have to acknowledge what, the known and the unknown. And here's what I would say: if you're Brian Kelly, if you're Mike Denbrock, you have 2 guys ahead of Walker that are more experienced that would both be better off helping you win in 2023, right, this year. And this year, you're going to have a really good team. I mean, you're building off a team that won 10 games, won the SEC West. You've had one of the best years in the portal. If you look at transfer portal rankings, I mean, the transfer portal team rankings have Florida State, Colorado, Southern Cal, Auburn, LSU. They get you 5th in the portal rankings, right? So, you've supplemented a really good season by getting a lot of veterans to return, including your starting quarterback, and you've supplemented here with a really good portal class. And so if you're Brian Kelly, you're going, man, we can win now. Well, your best opportunity to win now is, you get your starting quarterback returning, who just won 10 games and threw for 2,900 yards and ran for 900 yards and accounted for 27 touchdowns and threw only 3 picks. I mean, like a guy that's proven he can win at this level. So Jaden is your best option in 2023. And then you figure out what's next beyond that. And what's next beyond that is probably Garrett, which is what a lot of y'all want to see. So, and if Garrett leaves, then you go into the portal and you address it then, because you can. I mean, it's just the nature of college football now. There'll be 50 quarterbacks in the portal next year at this time. So if you need one, go get one in the portal. Just like you did with Jaden Daniels, just like you did with Joe Burrow, just like you did with Zach Mettenberger and Danny Etling. I mean, LSU's most accomplished quarterbacks in the last decade have all been transfers. So if you need to do that again, go do that again. So I think the Walker Howard news, it probably stings people more like emotionally because it's Walker. Like it wasn't quite as big a deal when Chris Garrett left or when Anthony Jennings left, right? I mean, it feels different because I think of who he is. So anyway, a lot of people are going to ask where he's headed. Best I could gather is Walker is going to make visits, and I think Florida, Auburn, TCU. And I don't think you could ever necessarily totally count out Bama, although I think that's a long shot, but you never know if Nick wants to get involved. But I think Florida, Auburn, TCU are three that are going to get visits, and all three would make a lot of sense for different reasons. A lot of people bringing up TCU. TCU was a school that offered Walker in coming out of high school, a place he liked a lot. I know their family has, a lot of friends and ties into that Dallas-Fort Worth area. They just played for a national championship. Max Duggan is gone. Jack Besh is there now. So Sonny Dykes has ties to Louisiana. The offense is a fit for Walker. There's a lot of reasons TCU makes sense. Florida, same. Look, you just look at Jaden Rashada yesterday asking for, it was released from his letter of intent, or reportedly asking for his release from his letter of intent. But if Jaden Rashada, their 5-star signee, wants out, Anthony Richardson's gone pro. Jalen Kitna was kicked off the team. So you got Graham Mertz, who transferred in from Wisconsin, and Jack Miller, who started the bowl game this past year. That's it. So, and then Billy Napier, of course, was in Lafayette, so every game Walker Howard played in high school. So, and they have a great relationship. So, Florida's got a ton of NIL money to spend, although NIL isn't necessarily going to be the thing that matters for Walker. And then Auburn is throwing around a ton of NIL money. They have no settled quarterback whatsoever. I don't think anybody is convinced Robbie Ashford is the guy. So I think those are probably the spots that you're going to see Walker take visits quickly and make a decision pretty quickly, because if he's going to go through spring ball at his next spot, he's certainly going to want to be enrolled for the spring semester, right? So he can go through spring ball. So, okay, that's sort of my abbreviated Cliff's Notes version of the Walker Howard stuff. We'll say some good mornings here. Brad David, is it hard like yesterday when news breaks on your show? Brad, it's different because you have to pivot. So, the Walker news broke yesterday in the middle of hour 2, and then everything else that I had planned and structured for the show, you just kind of crumple it in a ball and throw it in the trash. Because from that point on, anybody that turns on the radio or TV or is watching the show, they're expecting to hear me talking about Walker Howard. Like, that's the only thing anybody who tuned in at that point is expecting me to talk about. So you just pivot, so there's nothing prepped, and so you're just kind of shooting from the hip a little bit. So, so it's just different. Jesse Post, Larry Gardner, Wendell Norman, Caleb, good morning, Shelby Kelly. How about college baseball and softball making all volunteer full-time coaches with no restrictions? Yeah, that was cool. Long overdue that they added a full-time assistant, which is great for college baseball. Does it surprise you there are still many LSU fans who are anti-Jaden Daniels? Fans are fans, Brad. People have their biases. That's mostly what it is. It's if you've convinced yourself of something with a certain guy, then that's true just in sports and life. You will downplay the good and accentuate the bad, or downplay the opposing theory and accentuate what supports your idea. So I'm not altogether surprised. When you have a place like LSU, it would take someone like Joe Burrow for people to be unified. Wacky Chris, good morning. Do you think Howard is leaving because Daniels is staying? Surprised it's Walker leaving and not Nuss. Hey, man, Wacky Chris, I don't mean to make this an I told you so thing, but when Jaden announced he was returning and a lot of y'all were worried that Garrett was leaving, I said it on Scone and Tea, I said on Whiskey and Wine, I said on AFR, I said here, that the scuttle was more about Walker, not about Nuss leaving. If you're surprised, it's because that's a fan mentality that I don't mean to be critical. That's just you just assume like the number 2 guy would leave, but when the number 3 guy feels like he can play anywhere in the country right now and he's not even going to get a chance to compete, that's what it is, man. Everybody commits or signs with certain, intention. So I don't even necessarily think that it's so much that Jaden's returning. It's more so, I think, for Walker that Jaden and Garrett are back, because that essentially relegates him to scout team. And I think if you're again, my understanding in all the conversations that I've had about this situation is Walker wasn't looking to be just handed the job next year, but he was willing to sit for a year, but then wanted to at least be able to compete for it and get those reps and continue to progress. The problem is, as he sees it, I understand, is if you're just running scout team, you're not getting reps, and are you really getting any better? I mean, you're throwing passes to walk-ons, and you're just giving the defense a look. Are you improving? Maybe not. Truax, what's good, man? Kelly Groves, Ryan Amanda Guidry, Dale Broussard. LSU losing QB3 is not a reason to panic. LSU will be fine. Dale, that's the thing. Just like if you remove the name, right? If you just look at LSU losing their 3rd quarterback, it isn't that big a deal because you got Ricky Collins coming in, and then you'll recruit a quarterback next year. And if you need the portal, you could do that as well. I mean, that's like when you take the name off of it. Yes, I mean it makes so much more sense. Trey Fisher, good morning. See Ryan, losing Walker Howard does sting. We'll be fine. Have 2 quality quarterbacks that can win. Mike, touche. Walker probably ends up at TCU. Probably means David LaFleur's kid, who's junior tight end sophomore, will probably follow. Again, Mike, I think I know that there's this widespread assumption that he's going to TCU, and that may be the case. Like he may end up there, but my understanding is that he's going to take some visits, and I think he's going to visit Florida, Auburn, and TCU. And I wouldn't rule out Florida if Billy gets him on campus and essentially says, "Come here and you can start day 1," which he may. So, Lil Cormier, Ryan, I bet Walker's phone is ringing off the hook. Now that I can confirm. Just within minutes of the news breaking, it got a little crazy, yes, and will continue to. So, I mentioned those 3 schools, but what's to say today a dozen more schools on call, and one of them is a better option. It could happen. Paul Losi, good morning. David Tolson, I'm bummed Walker's leaving. We have a full quarterback room. That's a good way to look at it. I mean, I don't know that you have a full room right now, though, but I mean, you've got Jaden and Garrett, and you have Ricky Collins coming in, so you got 3. I'd always rather have 4 just so you can build and develop depth. But again, the point there is you can always just add a transfer the next year to supplement if you need to. Smash that like button if you would there on YouTube. And if you're new, please subscribe up to the YouTube channel. Facebook, please like the page and share the post. Hunter Broadhead, good morning, Matt. I think we have to appreciate Drew Brees a little more since he threw for 5,000 yards with Carmichael as the play caller. Carmichael wasn't the primary play caller. Sean Payton was. Carmichael called plays on 3 different for 3 different seasons, and all 3 of those seasons, the Saints were top 5 in the NFL in offense. Austin, am I crazy to think Walker was the best true passer on the team? I think Walker had the best release. I think whenever we'd watch them throw in camp, just all side by side, just how it comes out of his hand looked a little different. But you got to see him play in a couple games this year, and did it blow you away? I'm not saying it was an advantageous situation. I mean, you're up big and you're out there running, just to play the string, but you also didn't see a oh wow. I mean, the one oh wow play I'll tell you about Walker from the limited action he got was the 30-yard run he had against Purdue. Jason H. Morning, Matt. Not sure it was in the air last night. You and T-Bob agreeing on everything, along with T-Bob not wearing his normal Star Wars button down. For views, you'll need to disagree. Yeah, it was weird. Like we were talking about the Walker Howard thing. That was the show. We did kind of agree on pretty much every point. Bojax, good morning. Kids want the job given them on a silver platter nowadays. Bad look to not even compete for one more spring. Yeah, I Brad or Bojax, again, I'm going to disagree with you there. I'm telling you something that I believe to be true based on many, many, many conversations I've had with a lot of people very familiar with the situation. Walker wasn't asking to be given the job. He was willing to sit for year one, but then wanted an opportunity to compete in year two. And that was always going to be the thought because everyone always thought Jaden was just going to be here for a year and then Walker and Garrett could go compete. And even if Garrett had left, I think Walker would still be here. But with Garrett returning and Jaden returning, it's essentially another practice squad or scout team year for Walker. And that's I think the difference. And I want to say one other thing, man. I forgot the thing that I wanted to say. Sorry. Oh yeah, that was it. Every LSU fan that criticizes a kid that transfers, like, you gotta watch out, man, because the greatest player in LSU history was a transfer. Okay, you could say Joe Burrow quit, and he didn't want to stick it out, and win the job, and Joe Burrow quit. He quit Ohio State. He left and came to LSU. And I know some of y'all, well, but he had graduated. Doesn't matter. That's such a stupid cop-out. He transferred. He left his team, left his coaches that recruited him, left his teammates. He lost the job, and he left. And it was a great decision. I'm so thrilled he did. And it was the right decision for him. And this may end up proving to be the right decision for Walker as well. So before adult humans start lobbing insults at young people, calling them soft and quitters and all this sort of stuff, be mindful that there's a lot of circumstances when the NCAA gives you a finite amount of years to play and you're trying to get to the next level, you have to go play. So I get it. That's why the rules are set up they are. Joey B. Mike Scarborough said last night it will be TCU because Walker doesn't want to play against his teammates. That's fine. And Mike knows a lot of people, and a lot of us know a lot of people that are very close to that family. And Jamie and Walker and a lot of people around them and the LSU coaching staff and a lot of other people that are like it's one of those things where a lot of people know a lot of people associated with them. So I'm certain that's a consideration. And I'm also telling you that there's going to be more than one hat at the table. So don't be surprised when you see Walker Howard go visit Florida and Auburn and TCU. Could Jack Best be the thing that pushes him over the top? Sure, it's his best friend. Want to go play with his best friend. I get it. I'm not saying to you that he's not going to TCU. I'm just saying it ain't over. Like, I don't think he's going to announce today that he's going to TCU. That's my only point. All right. Renee Marks, good morning. Todd Harris, good morning. Y'all smash that like button if you would. Do about 5 more minutes here. Devin, can't believe Walker's transferring. Guess LSU won't be better off if he never plays it down for LSU as the starter. Devin, I don't know what you're saying there. Kevin Vercher, I believe Walker had issues with Brian Kelly approach. That's not true. It's Kevin. A lot of you can keep throwing out your hypotheticals of what you think may be the case. I'm telling you it is the case. Walker was willing to sit I'm telling you this for a fact. Walker Howard was coming here willing to sit for a year. Everyone has talked about this on the record. He was willing to redshirt. He was willing to grow and develop physically, emotionally, to learn and to watch. Jamie talked about this on the record a bunch. As a player, he had to play early, and he sees benefits to sitting and watching and developing, and all that's fine. And Walker was willing to do that. But year 2, he wanted to have the opportunity to compete for the starting job. Not given the starting job, the opportunity to compete. He's not going to have that with the 2 guys ahead of him returning. So do you sit another year, and then in your 3rd year, now you're sitting behind Garrett Nussmeier? And what if Nuss plays 2 years? So then if you're Walker, you're Miles Brennan. You don't get your opportunity until year 5. So you could play that long game, or you could make the decision to go now. He made the decision to go now. It's okay. It's LSU's 3rd string quarterback. I get it. It's Walker Howard. It's Jamie's son. It's from Lafayette. Went to St. Thomas More. Highly coveted, highly recruited. We all get it. But in this day and age of college football, recruit another great one. There's great quarterbacks every year. Go recruit another great one. And if you don't get them in high school, get them out of the transfer portal. Look around college football. Eric Wilderado, Shelby Kelly. Let's see. Now that higher seeds will always be the home team, you can pay a 4th coach as college baseball finally fixed 2 of the dumbest rules in sports. Eric, yeah, the other one is the 11.7. College baseball with 11.7 scholarships is foolish. Jonathan Martin, Weston Weaver, Reed Rule, Larry Connor. Hope Florida quarterback transfer takes a trip to Baton Rouge. How about Jaden Rashada? I don't know what's going on there. Let's see. Caleb, Matt Plavidal, good morning. Hoping out of those 3, it's TCU. Don't want to play them every year at Florida or Auburn. I'm with you. It's always better when if a player transfers out of your program, or if you lose out in a recruiting battle for a kid you want. It's always better when they go somewhere where you never have to see them, for sure. Leon Williams, Bailey Bro, Cody Kibido. The portal giveth, the portal taketh away. It's very true. Wish Walker the best wherever he lands. Given the portal, Matt, you almost have to recruit a quarterback every recruiting cycle. Yeah, Cody, I believe that no matter what. You always have to sign a quarterback. And we've talked about 2018 before, but that the year that LSU brought in Joe Burrow, they did so sort of out of necessity because LSU missed on a quarterback. It was a kid out of Mobile, I think his name was Foster, who ended up going to A&M, stayed a year and left. But LSU was going to be short on quarterback numbers, and so and that's why they went and got Burrow. Because remember, that wasn't until, there wasn't a portal at the time, but that wasn't until after spring football when Burrow came in as a grad transfer. It's 7:57. Let's see, a couple more. H-Town Creole, what's up? Bailey C, would you rather Ed Ogeron coach LSU for life or DA coach the Saints for life? Dennis Allen coach the Saints. Brian Wynn, Samuel Smith. Wish we could have seen pre-hurt Adam Miller. He hasn't been great this year. Yeah. Got to find that consistent stroke. Patrick Ramos, who else should be looking to pick up a quarterback in the portal for the season? Patrick, I believe yes. I mean, we'll see what they decide to do, but again, it's never a bad thing to have depth, especially experienced depth at the most important position in team sports. And I'm not saying you're bringing in someone to be a starter, but you can bring in someone who maybe is a G5 quarterback or a backup somewhere who might be willing just to come to LSU. I gave this example, but Kentucky brought in 2 quarterbacks. They brought in Devin Leary from NC State, who's going to be their starter. Like, Devin Leary is coming in to be the starter. But Deuce Hogan from Iowa also transferred to Kentucky this year. So they took 2 transfer quarterbacks. Well, Deuce Hogan's coming in knowing he's not starting at Kentucky, but he's a Power 5 quarterback who's got some experience, and he's going to go wait, and then next year maybe have his opportunity to play. So, I mean, I think if that type scenario is out there, yeah, you take a look at it. The Midwest Tribe, what's going on? Pat Huseman, I wish Walker the best. Anywhere but Bama. H-Town Creole, LSU is a CFP caliber team. There's no way Walker Howard would be ahead of Jaden and Nuss. It's true. It's why he's leaving. With Colin Hurley committed and having the portal, I feel good about the quarterback situation. That's another thing to keep in mind. Like, Colin Hurley is a highly rated dude for the 2024 class, so you'll have him coming in behind Ricky Collins. And if you need to add a veteran, you do. Like, if Nussmeier leaves, Jaden's going after next year. I don't know why Nuss would leave now if he stays another year, but you go supplement your roster with a portal quarterback. All right, it's 8 o'clock, y'all. I got to get going. Got to get Drew up and out. Leon Williams, Douglas Hurstel, Jason H. Ronnie Dugas, Reed Rule. Appreciate y'all. Jared DeLucky, great to see you last night, man. Damon Jackson, what's up? Tim Gotro, Ethan Davidson, Kay Orange. Appreciate y'all for being there. Again, hey, Dad, good morning. Craig Straub, Charlie Cavell. Appreciate everybody being there. As always, do me a favor, YouTube 133 watching, smash that like button if you would. Subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. As always, brought to you by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. You need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Need a roof inspection, repair, replacement, call us at Hudco. Restored Motions, if you got pain. Saw Crystal Poche yesterday. Life changer, man. God, she's a life changer. If you got pain, you've been living in it, don't. Just book a session. RestoredMotions.com. Just book a session. RestoredMotions.com. And ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. A week from Sunday is LSU Baseball First Pitch Banquet, and ProCharge EV is giving away 2 seats at its table at the Crown Plaza. The entire LSU baseball team will be there. Former Tigers, I think Alex Bregman's supposed to be there as well. Dinner, open bar, auction items, all that sort of stuff. So go follow ProCharge on social media and look for the First Pitch Banquet post. And you'll see all the rules to enter to win, and they'll draw a winner next week. ProCharge EV. Go to any of the social media accounts at ProCharge EV. Okay, y'all have a great, great day. We'll see you for LSU Daily's already live. It's more Walker Howard talk. And we'll see you for AFR 3. All right, peace.